potentials waging war in the unseen realm. Global events fulfilling biblical prophecy. Eternal life. What lies beyond mortality? From analyzing the paranormal from a biblical worldview to the discussion of cutting-edge science and technology, conspiracy, discovery, special investigative reports. Unafraid to explore the challenging issues facing humanity. Welcome to another edition of Skywatch TV.
If you're a subscriber to the Skywatch TV magazine, you may have noticed in the July issue a first, perhaps for any magazine ever, an article written by a horse. Welcome to Skywatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert. Joining me on the panel today to explain why sugar has an article in the Skywatch TV magazine, the CEO of Skywatch TV, Tom Horn.
Good to be here.
The horse whisperer, the one behind Whispering Ponies Ranch, the one working with Sugar and all of her colleagues at the ranch, Nita Horn.
Good to be here.
And the COO of Skywatch TV and our friend Joe Horn. Welcome all.
Derek, thank you.
Yeah. Sugar had a great article about a wonderful event that just took place at Whispering Ponies Ranch. Tom, tell people about that.
Yeah, of course, that was Lynn and her masterful translation. She actually back whispered.
Oh, you ruined it for me. Oh, I was so looking forward to it.
What Sugar told her happened. And so that for people that are watching this program, we really do have a terrific update. And that is that over the last year, as many of the viewers of this program know, we have been building a 280-acre retreat facility. And of course, the big, projects that were necessary were the ones that would provide for overnight lodging and whatever. So we were just working like crazy people, trying to get the first part of the lodge done. That would house 68 people overnight, provide food services and all that. And anyway, we barely were ready, but we were ready, and we ran the very first Royal Family Kids Camp this year. And so we're very excited about that. We want to talk a little bit about what happened during the camp. And if there are people that watch this program and don't understand, what in the world does a Royal Family Kids Camp have to do with Skywatch television, right? Because we're always talking about this very edgy stuff, prophecy, discovery, the supernatural. But when Nita and I came here to Missouri, it was our plan to retire. I had made money in real estate, and we wanted to buy land, and we were going to be the benefactors, for a Royal Family Kids operation where kids can come. These are kids that have been abandoned.
Wards of the state.
They're wards of the state. Many of them have been severely abused. And for the most part, they're psychologically set down. They're psychologically damaged. And when we were building the Camp Davidson camping project for the Assemblies of God in Oregon years ago, that was my first exposure to these Royal Family Kids Camps. And I would watch these kids come in, and the first day they're there, you can tell they're very scared, they're paranoid, they're not exactly sure what's going on, they don't trust people at all, and then over a period of a week, a miracle of transformation would really begin, where these kids start learning to trust again. And there's a lot of methodology. These camps have been, the bugs have been worked out over a long period of time. Royal Family Kids Camp's the biggest camping operation of this kind in the world. They literally have hundreds and hundreds of Royal Family camps in the United States. They have them overseas. And we're friends with the president and the founder, Wayne Tesh, that's been on the program once before. But this got in my heart while I was there. And we had decided that when we retired, we were going to build an operation where at no cost the kids could come to this camp operation, which means since we're not charging them anything, they can bring more kids. In fact, I remember the man who was the camp coordinator for this first Royal Family Kids Camp telling us that every year they have the painful decision of having to decide which kids can't come and which kids are going to get to come because they can't afford what it costs for them to go to a normal camp. If it costs $500-600 per kid for the week, then their budget can only allow so many.
Sure.
In our camp, it's never going to be that, right? If you have enough counselors, you can bring as many kids as you want. And we're not just providing the camping facility at no cost. This is everything. Food services, recreation. This year when they told me that they wanted to be able to do things with mountain bikes and they wanted to fish in the pond, we went into town and we bought all new mountain bikes for the kids. We bought fishing poles, right? I had to learn if the fish would hit on corn instead of worms, and they did, so that was happy, right? Anyway, so there are people out there watching this program, and they have sponsored a pony.
Right.
Now, what does that mean? It means that they made a $1,000 annual commitment to supporting the care of one of the therapy horses that Nita will talk about in a moment that are used at the campground. And part of that money also went to help us in the building of this first facility and facilities to come. And we want them to know that as a result of the commitment they made to us, we were able here to get all of the work done, to be ready, and their dollars actually went to ministering to these children. You know, the Bible tells us in James 1:27 what pure religion is. I would assume the majority of people watching this program are religious in one way or another, right? They're God-minded. Well, here's what the Bible says pure religion is: ministering to orphans and widows.
Right.
And so their donation to sponsor a pony is helping that actually happen now in very tangible and real ways. And I got to tell you, and then I'm going to let other people talk, again, my heart was moved in a way that nothing else moves me. We're sitting there that first night, our camp staff's all over here, all the rest of the kids and their counselors sitting together, and I hear this little boy, and he is saying, "I'm eating like a king, I'm eating like a king." And you know why he was saying that? Because it was fruit on the table. For in his
bananas
mind,
and peaches. And
in his mind, to have a banana, to have an apple, would be to be eating like a king, right? And this just got to me. And I got up and I walked over into one of the rooms on the side, and another little boy, a different one, walked up beside me and he said, "Are you an angel?" And I'm telling you, man, this got to me so much, right? I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just a helper." I literally had to go outside and just collect myself,
compose for a minute.
That these children come to this place. And by the time the camp was over, they were all crying like babies. "We don't want to leave. We want to live here." But we know that during that week, we took these children from one place of being hardened and hurt and abused to believing, that there are good people in the world and that there is a God.
There's a God.
And there's a Savior named Jesus Christ, and He cares about them. And that's what the people that have sponsored ponies and those that we hope will continue, and even new people who will help us go to the next phase, that's exactly what they are doing. Children that would otherwise be forgotten by so many other mainstream ministries. Why? Because they can't give you anything. They got no money. They're not going to give you political influence or power. You do this because it is God's commission to do it. And these are the people that are helping us do this that have sponsored a pony.
Nita, what was the most impactful thing that occurred during the week to you?
Well, there were several things, and it would be hard to narrow down, but Chigger comes to mind. And the reason is because she's our tiniest little horse that we have.
Now, she's the second smallest in the world or in the country? That we know of.
She's 18.5 inches tall at the withers. And she went to visit the dorms, and all of the dorm rooms have a name of one of the horses. Chigger's is on the handicapped room because Chigger's our special needs little horse. So Chigger got to go visit all the little kids in that room, and the most amazing thing, and this was not planned, that person, the counselor of that room, had superhero was his theme because each of the rooms have a theme. The most amazing part about that is I can't take pictures on unexposed faces, but this particular dorm had all these masks hanging on the wall. So I asked the counselor, I said, "Can I take pictures?" And they put their mask on, and he said, "You bet." So we brought Chigger down in her little superhero outfit, and her little outfit was a super royal family mascot king outfit. You have to see it, it's just really cute. But in any case, all the little kids gathered around, and started getting their pictures taken. And there was one little boy that chokes me up because he was so enamored with Chigger. He just kept touching and stroking her because she's a special needs and she has crooked feet and a crooked little bite. And I explain all of this to the kids.
She's a dwarf.
She's a little dwarf, and she has the dwarfy little features that, you know, breeders should not be doing that. But I ended up with her, and, you know, she's got a little underbite, and I could go on in great detail, but the gist of it is, after I got done explaining all of these imperfections that she has, this little boy connected with Chigger in a way that no human could.
Right.
He just kept saying, I just love her so much. We're talking about a 12-year-old boy. We're talking about a young man at that time of their life where they're changing from a little boy to a young man.
Right.
They start getting cynical
Yes.
and snarky and
Yes.
Voices start to
irreverent.
change. Yeah.
and-
But let me
yeah.
tell you what I love about that moment, because when he kept stroking and touching and just scratching on her and talking about how beautiful she was, on and on, what etched in my mind is that that moment for that young man set in concrete a memory that will never, never leave him. That will be with him for the rest of his life. And every time he thinks about that little horse, he's going to remember the Royal Family Kid Camps and everything that he learned about Joseph and the coat of many colors, and about God and the songs that they sang and the wonderful food they ate and the fellowship he had and the love that he received and the acceptance among peers, so much of what the world does not give. To me, that could summarize my highlight. Many, many more, but that one is, I can put so much just into that one experience.
Yeah, and you know what? And what was so cute about that to me is that little boy kept looking at Chigger, which is the most imperfect
Yep.
horse that we have as a rescue horse. She rescued her, and he kept saying, "She's so beautiful. She's so beautiful." Right.
Right.
Because beauty is something that extends from a deeper experience, right? He could see through her imperfections, right? And something about the whole camp, something about the essence of God,
Yes.
right, that is there, and these people that care for you. So really what was happening is this was a beautiful experience for
Yes.
him, but somehow it was iconified
Right.
in the most imperfect horse on the whole
Right.
property, right? Who became the superhero mascot
Right.
for the room that had the children that
Oh.
had special needs.
Oh, and I have to add, before we forget, after we did the photo shoot with the one dorm, all the other kids lined up for a turn. All the counselors lined up and had
Yeah.
to have pictures. We got pictures of everybody with Chigger, and she just became the instant mascot. So we could not have planned that. That's what God, one of the things God did in lieu of everything we planned.
Now, Joe, you've got 4 beautiful children, including a couple who are in the age group here. One in particular in the age group of the kids at that were at the Whispering Ponies Ranch for this weekend. And I know you were out there really busting it to try to get things done. I mean, you were putting up, helping finish out the showers like the week that
It
the
really
campers were
became an all-hands-on-deck thing
Yes.
Yeah,
to
so
get ready.
as somebody who is a father now of children in that same age group, that same age range, how did this affect you?
Anybody that knows me, like you guys, I mean, you know that I prioritize my kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying anything intentionally that comes off as braggadocious, but it's just that I
Well,
was
I'll
raised.
say it for you.
I was raised that way. My dad would take me every couple of months. We'd have, Daddy Sunday, and he would take me to Chuck E. Cheese and buy me a toy or something. It was the funnest day ever. My mom did the same thing. We had these moments where they would take time away from pastoring or whatever, big tent revivals, whatever they were doing, to make sure that each of us kids, my 2 sisters included, had time with them. And so that was the way I was raised, and I believe if you invest in your children,
Right. And
as they mature, they have a constant.
Right.
When I've got 3 daughters, my prayer is that when they start meeting boys at some point, when they're 30 to 40 years old, that if it's possible, that maybe as a father I've provided an example of at least what a reasonable guy looks like, so they'll have.
Well, yeah, you may not want to talk about yourself, but I will talk about him. We see it in the way his kids behave around here and the love that he shows them on a regular basis. And the same goes for Josh Peck and his
Yes, Josh and Christina, great parents.
his children. But that's why I'm asking you, because
Right.
your kids are in that age group
They are.
where
They
but for
really
the
are.
grace of God, these children are there because they're not getting that kind of parenting that you and Catherine are giving their children, and
it's-
Josh and Christina are giving their children.
If you've had children, the part of it that is almost impossible for me to wrap my head around, and this is really something they did a good job portraying in the Camp movie, which was a Royal Family Kid production, which we're actually giving away with an offer that you'll tell them about in a minute. But full-length Hollywood film. They portray these children who have been abused, and they have these scenes that unfold. And one in particular, there's a boy, his father gets home, his father's in an upset place, and they did a really good job basically sanitizing of any visible violence. You don't see anything horrific. But they go to a black screen, and you know that what has followed is this irate, outrageous, total loser dad has just worked his son over. And I guess as a father, I don't know where that type of abuse makes sense to a parent.
Yeah.
I just could never lay a hand on my kids in a place where I'm coming from anger or just, and to know that some of them have been abused sexually, violently. And a huge number of the Royal Family Kids Camp, like my father was talking about, this young man that felt like he was eating like a king, isn't just that they've been physically abused, it's neglect.
Yeah.
Neglect.
Yeah.
They're not getting, if they're lucky, they'll get a meal of some kind once a day. Sometimes that's the public school lunch. So anyway, my role, I guess, where I come from on this is back in the early 2000s, we did this once before in Oregon. And my role was I was a Rec Tech certified high ropes instructor trainer. I was certified to build and develop zip lines. If you've ever been to Branson and you've participated in some of the vacation scenes and you've gone zip lining, I used to be a facilitator for that. I was also a Red Cross, LIT, which is a lifeguard instructor trainer. It's a step above just a traditional lifeguard. I was actually certified. We had 5 or 6 camps that would send their lifeguards over to Camp Davidson, and I was the guy putting on the training and showing them how to use rescue masks. And I was only one of 2 guys in the state of Oregon that was certified to do deep water rescue and some things that are now so old-fashioned they don't even teach it anymore. But this was my life.
Well,
but it was way more than just about using these as amenities. But go ahead.
Well, I know, because I know we got to cut to a commercial.
Right.
When we come back, I want you to explain to people why that's important for where we're going to be in 2018.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I was making notes here. It's like,
Right.
okay,
I was headed there, but we got to.
So when we come back, we're going to tell you about some of the plans in the future and why Joe's experience with these things is relevant. But we're also going to give you a little bit of a surprise, a little backstory on the man who has helped make this vision through God's providence, of course, the boy from El Mirage. When Skywatch TV continues after this.
I've said many times that I have no idea how I wound up where I am. But when I look over the course of my life now, I can see the hand of God was in it from the beginning.
You know, many people have followed my father's professional career, but very few know the story of how God took a small, barefoot child in the desert and brought him into the life and ministry that we all see today. In his teens, he would retreat out to the desert sands all by himself and lie down under the stars. And he would wonder about things like the universe. Was there a God? You know, he didn't know. But what he did know was that mere science and mathematics were never going to explain the vast cosmos up above him. But one night, he died, and my mom literally came in and found him lying there cold as stone. And the answers that he'd been looking for finally started to come like a flood.
Learn the true life story of how Tom Horn cheated death 3 times. Met with a dark spiritual entity who fled at the mere mention of Jesus Christ. And the events that led him to take on difficult subjects that the church avoided in order to become a fisher of men.
It's surreal to think that God chose me, of all people, to write the things that I've written and speak the things that I've said. But each of us leaves a footprint. This is why I've chosen now to share my story. It's not about me, it's about tomorrow's leaders. My life proves that God can and will use anyone.
For the first time ever, my father, Dr. Thomas Horn, tells his amazing personal story in the new biography, The Boy from El Mirage. Walk with him from his adventurous childhood through his colorful teens and all the way to the miracles that led him into full-time ministry. You'll learn how God impassioned my father with a heart to reach the lost, and in particular children who are looking for hope beyond life's circumstances. This includes the creation of Whispering Ponies Ranch, a special place that he and Nita Horn are building where children who need a second chance in life are given the opportunity to experience the love of Jesus firsthand. Now you can take part in that ministry effort by supporting Whispering Ponies Ranch with your donation of $20 or more for the Building Hope special offer. In this limited time collection, you'll receive Dr. Thomas Horn's never-before-released biography, The Boy from El Mirage, founder of the Royal Family Kids organization, Wayne Tesch's book, From Despair to an Heir, Reviving the Heart of a Child, A Legacy of Hope, Stories from Royal Family Kids, Nita Horn's memoir, No Fences, and the full-length award-winning motion picture DVD, Camp, inspired by the true stories of Royal Family Kids. Offered separately, these items hold a value of over $90, but we want to send these love gifts to you now when you donate $20 or more to help provide these little ones with new smiles and life-changing experiences. These are lives changed entirely because of you, and we thank you in advance for helping transform the lives of hurting children and adults, one therapy pony at a time. The Building Hope special offer is available now for a limited time at skywatchtvstore.com or by calling 844-750-4985.
Welcome back to Skywatch TV. With me in the studio today, Skywatch TV CEO Tom Horn, our COO Jill Horn, and the Horse Whisperer. The
Well, they
lady
talk to me. They do more talking to me than I do.
Nita Horn, Whispering Ponies Ranch. 28. You know, it is really remarkable. When Sharon and I agreed to become a part of this, you didn't even tell us about any of this, any of the Whispering Ponies Ranch vision. It was Joe sort of let the cat out of the bag when you guys were away. Joe said, well, let me take you out around the property
you out
and
on an
show
ATV
you,
ride.
show you what, see, he's cutting trails over here for this, and this is where we can put the zip line. And we started telling friends back in Illinois, this is what we're going to do and become a part of. And there were a lot of skepticism, a lot of people saying, yeah, right, because it's a big vision that the Lord has given you.
Right.
And yet here we are, and these kids, the first set of campers have come and gone.
Right.
It was a huge success.
Yes.
Now 2018, Tom, God willing, what's in the plan?
Yeah, and by the way, you're right. I mean, when Wayne Tesch, the founder of Royal Family Kids Camp, he was recently at the ranch, and we're riding around on a Polaris, and he said to me, he said, Tom, he said, lots and lots of people talk. He said, you know, I hear this all the time. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. He said, very few people ever do it. He said, you guys have already done more than you ever said you were going to do. And so now, again, we were able to do this because of our supporters,
Right.
people
Absolutely.
sponsoring ponies that
Right.
helped us to pay for the, you know, the actual cost of material. We're providing a lot of the labor. I mean, we're actually doing a lot of the work ourselves, but you still have costs, right?
Right.
And so now we're hoping that people will help us sponsor pony, sponsor another pony, get your friend to sponsor a pony, make a donation of some kind to help for the Royal Family Kids Camp development at Whispering Ponies Ranch. Because 2018, we're going to finally turn the curve on, we don't have to buy any more land. We've got most of the buildings built or are being, you know, close to being finished that will help with overnight lodging. The lodge will be done. So now we're going to move into the amenities, and this is what Joe was talking about before the break, where his certification was in the past. For instance, we're going to build a big gymnasium that will have an indoor climbing wall and all
cool.
of that on the inside.
climbing wall.
But Joe's the guy that oversaw the construction of that. We'll have zip lines, and he can probably...
Low ropes courses, challenge
and
courses.
also tell them, so besides it's just fun, explain what the therapeutic aspect of using like a zip line and that kind of thing.
Right. Okay, that's an important question. I'm glad we got to that. I know we're running out of time, so let me just squeeze this in. The reason that we've made this as vacation-esque as we can for these kids is not just because it's a blast and they'll never forget and oh, what fun. A lot of these things, like a high zip line, the one we operated in Central Oregon was 60 feet out of a crow's nest in a tree over what was the length of a football field. When you get up there, the psychological effort that you have to put into literally, I can't push you off. As a certified instructor, I cannot push you off. You literally have to propel yourself off of the platform willingly. So for a lot of people, they're dealing with fear of heights, they're dealing with anxiety. Some of this stuff dates back to things they've experienced from childhood. They've been told you don't amount to anything, you'll never do anything, you don't have the guts, you're not a real man, whatever it is. And so there's these moments where you have an opportunity to help in a small way or a huge way, depending on the child, getting them over what is a mental obstacle. And the feeling that they get when they finally get talked, we used to call it talking them down. You have to encourage them. Sometimes this would take 10, 15 minutes, and you've got a line of kids behind that are, go, go, 3, 2, 1, and they sit there, okay, 1, 2, 3, and they're still sitting there. But finally, they make the decision to go, and the whole countenance of that child, they feel 15 feet tall, man. It's the first time maybe in forever they feel proud of themselves. It's not just that it's a fun vacation spot. Every one of these obstacles, every amenity we introduce, the rock climbing wall, the psychological adversity that they face, and the overcoming of the challenge that they experience is unforgettable.
Now, I also want to say, because we're going to run out of time, that for the people that have sponsored a pony, you directly are the ones that helped this to happen this year, that will help it happen in 2018. But we're going to be sending a letter. There's a letter coming from me and Nita to all the people that have sponsored a pony. It's going out in the mail here in the next week or two. It's going to talk more about what has been accomplished, what we're looking forward to doing in 2018. It's got a camp brochure that provides more of the vision. It actually shows some of the images. It actually has images of you, Joe, when you were up in the trees working with the hike horses and stuff from Camp Davidson to kind of illustrate what is coming to the facility. But in that letter, there's going to be an RSVP. So in an upcoming broadcast, we're going to update you on the coming conference in Oklahoma City. But as a pony sponsor, your registration to the conference is already paid by me and Nita. At that conference, we're also having a banquet that is an RSVP banquet. Nita and I will be there. We're going to provide a PowerPoint presentation on everything that your donations have helped us accomplish. The president of the Royal Family is going to be there. And also some of the keynote speakers for that conference will also come in there. There will be a meet and greet. So we're sending a letter that will explain all of this and illustrate everything that you are helping us to do. And from the bottom of our heart, we want to thank you.
Yes.
You have touched the life of children already in the most meaningful kind of way, and you're going to continue to do that as you help us move forward into 2018 at the Whispering Ponies Ranch.
And again, if you haven't already, make sure you grab a copy of the July issue of the magazine and read Sugar's report to get the horse's view. I'm pretty sure she just dictated it, and Lynn just kind of wrote it down. So, with Tom Horn, Nita Horn, Joe Horn, I'm Derek Gilbert. We thank you for watching as we keep watch. This is Skywatch TV.